Hello, Mina. Hello, everyone. We're going to make another bow today, but we're going to do something a little different. So both of these came from Sam's Club, I believe last year. We have a bumblebee hive print, and then we have a bumblebee with some leaves. So today we're going to figure out how to do two different sizes for our ribbon. So as you can see, this one is a 2.5 size ribbon. It's width this way. And then we have our 1.5 ribbon, which is really about half the size of this. Do you see? We're going to use both in a bow, and this time this bow is going to probably go to a craft show. So I will be putting on a pipe cleaner instead of wire. So we have our easy bow maker. As always, you put your ribbon in this way, not this way. Make your tail as long as you would like. I'm going to make my tail just a little bit past where it goes. So that's about 10 inches. Now, remember, we want this side up. The one that you're making the petal into needs to be pretty side down. So make sure that you twist. Remember, we are twisting like this. See how it's flipped over? So first, let's do our loops. So we are going to do a 5.5 to 6 inch loop here. There we go. Make sure it's where you want it to be and that you switch it. Look, this side up, we don't want that. Flip it. Okay, let's make our next loop. Let's move the tail out of the way so that you could see your measurement. Just until you make your first couple of loops, because then you could just match off of the loops. All right. Now, remember, this side up, no. We want to flip it. Okay? All right, so we're going to make 3 loops of this on each side. Match up your loops to the one that was previous. You could pull it a little bit through here when you're making it to make it a little shorter. It doesn't have to be exact when you put it in there. Usually it's a bit longer when I make it. See how it's longer? Just pull. Pull it. Make sure it's tight. I put my finger inside the loop and hold your finger where you want it to stay. That'll also help measure. Make sure you twist, and yes, it does loop like this. So sometimes I just flip it like this so it doesn't get so tangled. All right. Make sure you twist your loops. Put it all the way down. Twist it as you go. Make sure they match up. That's 3 for this side. All right, let's make one more on this side. All right, there we go. We have 3 loops of this big one on each side. So next what we're going to do is we are going to line up this ribbon and then cut it. It doesn't have to be exact. We can trim it later. All right, now let's set that aside. We don't need it anymore. All right, now you're like, this bow is not done. What else are we going to do? We're going to be doing this. And it's the same thing that you just did. We are starting it the same exact way. Look at that. Okay, line it up to where you want it to be for the tails. Okay, pull it down. Make sure you twist your ribbon. You want the pretty side down when you make your loop. Now we're going to make it a little shorter, okay? So about 1 inch or so shorter. There we go. Let's do this side. Make it about 1 inch shorter. See that? Make it about 1 inch shorter. Make sure that you twist your ribbon every single time. I know it's tedious, but it'll turn out very pretty. You could put your finger inside the loop, hold it to where you want it to be, and just pull it through. Just so that it matches up. We're doing 2 loops here, and then we'll do some shorter ones for the one. Remember we're cascading, so it's 3, 2, and then we're going to do a 1 and then a middle loop. All right. We're going to unravel this a bit more. It's okay if it gets a little looped up right here. See how it's all getting curved up? All right. So now we have 2 on each side, so let's make them a little bit shorter. About 1 inch on each side. It doesn't have to be exact. You do not have to measure it. If you do want to measure it, that is up to you. You could always look at where the measurements are on the bow maker. Or what I do is from my knuckle to my other knuckle right here is about 1 inch. Okay? All right. So now we have our 1 on this side. See how it's kind of doing that? You want to just kind of push it back there. All right. Oh, we already have our 1 on this side. So now we're going to make our loop for the middle. Now you want this one to be at least 2 inches shorter than the previous loop. Okay? So, but you want it big enough so that you could see the middle. All right. So all we did was make our loop and we flipped it over, correct? See how it is pretty side down. Next, you're going to take it, grab the ribbon right here, and pull it through. All you want is just a little piece right here, just right there, to make your loop, to go back so that your tail is on the right side. See how we have 1, 2 tails? We need 1, 2 tails on this side as well. There we go. All right, we don't need that anymore. So you have your zip tie. Now the flat side of the zip tie is where you're going to be putting this end in. The pointy side is the one that goes out. Okay, so we're going to pull our ribbon up. Now make sure you pull on the side that has the loop. See the loop on this side? That's the side you want to pull up. Okay, or else you're going to lose that when you pull up this side because this loop is only on this side. So take your hand, put it on top, put your fingers underneath, grab tight, pull up. Okay, all right. Now we have all of our bow. Make sure your tails are out forward. It's okay if your little loops move a little bit. It's okay. If you have an excess amount here, you could always pull it a little bit on the tail because we can cut that. Okay? It is up to you though. It still won't be noticeable. It will be covered up. Okay. So I slid my zip tie underneath in between my hand and the ribbon. Put this part into the zip tie and pull. Rock it back and forth until it's at the spot that you would like it to be. Make sure it's tight so that your bow does not fall apart. I like to use zip ties because they're more of a permanent thing. And yes, they are a one-time thing. You could only use zip ties once and then you'll have to use a new zip tie. But the bows hold together better with a zip tie compared to wire. All right. So next we're going to take our trusty wire cutters. These are Cobalt. They are very heavy. I use them for mainly florals and stuff, but I like the look of these ones better. So my crappy red ones are sitting in my basket somewhere else. All right, so we're gonna cut it. Make sure that you see how the opening is here? See how it's indented? And this side is flat. You'll get a closer cut if you do the flat side up against. Just make sure you don't get your ribbon. All right? Okay. Next, we are going to do our tails. Line up your bow. Make sure it stays about the middle on the other side there. It holds it for you so you could see where you need to cut. See how it is longer, way longer right here. Okay, so I still want to see the bee underneath. All right, so I'm going to cut this ribbon all the way up here because I want to see the stuff that's underneath. So we're going to cut this ribbon the same length. Now let's look at this one. Normally you do the underneath, but since we had so much extra to cut off, it was just fine. Now I'm going to dovetail. You could do the angle. So when you do the angle, all you need to do is cut from the corner down. I like the dovetail, so I'm going to be doing the dovetails. You could also leave it or you can curl it. So you fold it over, corner to corner, down, okay, and cut. There we go. Please, please, please remember that the ribbon has wire in it. Bows work best when it has wire in it. But it also leaves little tiny metal shards that come out when you cut it. Okay, so I always keep a little magnet next to my table. Somewhere on my table when I am cutting ribbon, I have a magnet. This is my magnet. It is from the Dollar Tree. You can see little shards of ribbon wire that came off. Look how tiny some of them are. Imagine that getting into your foot and not being able to get it out. So, this is my bow. Get your ribbon. Just make sure you go over it. Pick up any straggling pieces of metal. Okay? All right. So next is the poofing. So you see how it's kind of like this right here? You're not really going to see it anyways. But what you can do is just push the middle out a little bit and then pull. You see how it's curved? You want that. Okay? You don't want it to be straight like that because it's just going to poke someone's eye out. So what you're going to do is you're just going to curve it down just a little bit. Okay? There we go. Let's do this side. Make sure the tails are where you would like them to be. Okay. So we're going to start on the side that has the middle loop. Okay? So as you can see, it is going to cover this and the zip tie. Okay? You'll never see it. Do you see that? So because this is the one that I'm going to be selling, I'm going to put my pipe cleaner through here. There is the zip tie right there. And so I'm going to put it on this side of the zip tie so it stays. I want it to stay exactly where I want it to be, right in the center. So the pipe cleaner is going to go through the back, and we're going to make an X. Make an X. Grab the middle, pinch it, and twist. That's all there is to it. I usually twist about 2 or 3 times just because I want it to be nice on there. Now you could leave it like that, and you could put it on something that you want. Now I have a room divider that I painted and put hooks on so that I can display them at my craft shows. And so I need a loop for my bows so that I can put it on the hooks. And so that is my loop. All right, so next we're gonna poof. Put your fingers in, separate. And this is the one, it should be lining up to the center. Okay, if it leans over like that, that's okay. Fix it, it's wire. It'll go wherever you would like it to go. Next, pull this one down just a little bit so it's a little off center, along with this one. One needs to go up, one needs to go down. So this one remains in the center. Next, this one is leading this way. So I'm going to put this one over here. This one is all the way at the end. So this one's going to go here, and this one will go in the middle. Work with the ribbon, not against the ribbon. Because if you try to put a ribbon the way that you want it to go, and it doesn't want to go that way, you're going to lose. You'll have to redo the bow or make adjustments. It's just better to go with the ribbon. All right, now that's looking good. So let's do the other side. Put your thumb in the middle of the loop here. Do you see? And hold your fingers on the other side when you're doing this to hold the bow firm while you are poofing. Grab one, spread and pull. Spread and pull. Okay, so this one looks like it would want to, this one wants to go this way. So it's going to go here. This one looks like it wants to go this way because this one looks like it wants to be in the middle. Okay, there we go. There we go. Think about it as making a pyramid. You have your 3, and then the 2 sits in the middle, open spots. And then you have your 1 that sits in the middle here. Okay? That's the way I think of it. All right. So next, just make sure, make a little adjustments, make sure everything looks good, and then you will have your finished product. You could put your bow on anything you would like. You can also add wire if that is what you need to put on a wreath. I do not recommend using a pipe cleaner to put it on your wreath because the pipe cleaner eventually loosens as it goes. That is what my experience has shown me. And so I use wire when I put a bow on a wreath. Later, eventually we will be doing wreaths. As of right now, because it's in the off season, we are doing some bows. The next video, we will be doing a change color bow. And so we will change the color of the bow, but have it as the same size. That way you guys know how to do multiple colors for your bows. Okay? See you later. Have a good week. Subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you. Bye.